leading others to freedom. When Tubman reached freedom, she was overjoyed. There was such a glory over everything, she said when she remembered that day. The sun came like gold through the trees. Tubman went to work. She cooked, washed dishes, and cleaned people's houses. Now that she was free, people actually paid her to work for them. But Tatma was not content to sit back and enjoy freedom. She saved the money she earned so that she could help free others. Tubman made 19 perilous trips back to the south, ignoring her own danger in order to become a conductor of the Underground Railroad. She guided escapees from one safe resting place to another. A station on the Underground Railroad was actually an abolitionist, abolitionist's home, or sometime it was a church or another safe resting place. Some of the station has secret rooms to hide the escapees. Sometimes they rode from place to place in wagon with false bottoms, secret compartments that hid them. In 1850, the United States passed the Fugitive Slave Act, which made it a law that the northern states had to return escapees to their slavers. Now Tubman had to conduct her passengers all the way to Canada to fight freedom. How she did it! Many called Tubman a master of disguise. Sometimes she dressed as an old woman, and sometimes she disguised herself as a man. Is It is said that one day she met one of her former enslavers, and he didn't recognize her. Tubman was clever in other ways. She hired men to rip down wanted poster that described escapees. Runaway notice weren't put in newspaper on weekends. They said they had to wait until Monday morning. Tubman began to escape on Saturday night in order to have a head start. If Tubman saw people she thought were hunting for escapees, she turned to go south, and to make it look as though she was not trying to escape. If some escapees wanted to turn back, she forced them to keep moving north to freedom. She boasted that she never lost a passenger. The slaver was furious. And they offered a reward for Tubman capture, died or alive. The reward is $40,000, an enormous amount of money for that time. One day, Tubman overheard a man reading for a wanted poster, which described, which described her as not being able to read. She immediately pulled out a book and pretended to read it, and the man left without giving her a second look. Tubman helped many of her own relatives get out of the South. Thanks to her, six of her 10 brothers and sisters escaped. One on one difficult journey, she brought her elderly parents north to Canada. In total, Tubman led about 300 enslaved people north to freedom. Nothing was more important to her than helping others to become free. Others become free. One famous abolitionist, John Brown, called Harriet Tubman one of the bravest person on this continent. The end of slavery. On April 12, 1861, the Civil War began. The North and the South fought each other over the right to enslave people. During the war, Tubman worked as a nurse for the North Union Army. She was also a spy scouting out the Southern Army weapons warehouses. She continued to travel into the South, lead enslaved people north. When Civil War ended in 1865, slavery did too. Tubman remarried and lived in Auburn, New York. She sold vegetables door to door. She had very little money, yet she turned her own house into a home for freed black people in need of help. She worked for their aid and education. She also fought for the right of women to vote. Harriet Tubman was in her 90s when she died on March 10th, 1913. She devoted her long time to freedom. She will always be remembered as a true hero.